These are live pictures from the Guru Cemetery in Abuja, where the body of former Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari, will be laid to rest. We still have our correspondent, Femi Akonde, live for us in Abuja. Femi, tell us more on what you're able to see.
I'm now being joined by the Senior Special Advisor to the... Okay, sir, this Senior Special Advisor to the President on media and publicity now joins us, sir. Indeed, a devastating news for not just the presidency, but also for Nigerians. How is the President taking this?
Well, it's a deeply shocking incident because Abba Kyari is like a pillar there in the presidency. Is a rallying point for the entire workforce working for the president. He has had a long relationship with the president, more than 40 years of being together. He had a full understanding of the president. He knew exactly where the president stood on every issue, and so therefore he was there to fit of the president, because this is what the president believed, and Abba Kyari was there to ensure that President Buhari, at the end of his 2 terms, leaves behind legacies that will last and for which he'll be remembered for. And these are the things that Abba Kyari cared for.
Wow. So how is the president finding consolation in all of this? Because from what you've said, this man has been in the picture from the word go.
Well, you know that matters of life and death, they are not things that we have a choice in. It's providence that decides who goes and who is here. So the president, obviously, as a deeply religious person, takes it that it cannot be helped. And at the end of it, all of us will also go in that way.
So the body is being interred now. Let me just allow you to go and pay your last respect to the Chief of Staff.
Well, thank you very much, but please allow us to make the point that this burial, the funeral and the burial are all strictly private. After the burial, we expect that all those who even volunteer to come go home. There will be no ceremonies such as the paying of condolence visits and all of that. No, we want Nigerians to observe the regulations as put in place by the NCDC and the Federal Ministry of Health, so that we all stay healthy and live to be there tomorrow. Thank you. I appreciate it.
God give the presidency and indeed Nigerians the fortitude to bear the loss. Well, there you have it, the Senior Special Assistant to the President of Media and Publicity, telling us about the life and times of Abba Kyari and how closely he worked with the President, especially in achieving his visions for the country. First, he started with the change agenda and then moved to the next level agenda of the presidency. But I leave you now with visuals of the final interment of Abba Kyari, Chief of Staff to President Muhammad Buhari.
Hold the head. No, by the head, by the head. Lift the head. Lift your hand. Lift your hand down. What is your understanding?
Imperial rights for Abba Kyari, former chief of staff to President died of
wasu ake a rezi a sa wannan katon abin da ke wannan duba so ya daga abin kenan wani ya koma a karka za a yi rezin wannan da waɗannan da ya dora kanana so an yi rezin abin kenan da ko a ce a sake fitowa rezin da ka listen to cover waɗannan dogayen don kun yi reza waɗannan two sides na sai a jera sauran a kai
da kun sa ka tako biyu a can saboda short one sa shi a can sai a sa ka tako a can yes sai a sa underneath it
wannan this side ba
The final burial right now. Abba Kyari, Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari. It looks like everything is being put in place before he's finally committed to Mother Earth. Before now, a prayer was said for the repose of his soul at the Defense Guest House in Maitama, where dignitaries all converged to pay their last respect to the Chief of Staff and influential member of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. He has been with the president since 2015 when he was appointed as Chief of Staff, and since then he's wielded a great influence within the presidency. He's also been at the forefront of the implementation of President Muhammadu Buhari's policies and helped in the coordination of affairs within the presidency. Assistant to the President on Media Publicity, Abba Kyari, and he shared with me how closely Abba Kyari worked with the President and helped him in achieving some of his administration's plans, like in the railway sector, in the petroleum sector, in the power sector, and all other critical sectors of the economy. That Abba Kyari played a critical role in helping Mr. President achieve all of these. And looking at how closely he has worked with the President, indeed, his demise would really devastate the President. But well, he finds, according to Abba Kyari, he finds solace in the fact that death is inevitable and all of us would die one day. Security around here is tight just to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order. The social distancing is also being adhered to, even though not 100%, but to a large extent people around here are making efforts to adhere to the social distancing protocol put in place by the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC. For a lot of people around here, government officials, appointees within the presidency who have worked closely with the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari. Indeed, his family, as we hear, is also very devastated by the news of his death. Just about 3 weeks ago, news broke that he tested positive for the coronavirus, and again a statement was released by the presidency on the verified Twitter handle of the presidency, confirming that indeed Abba Kyari had tested positive for the coronavirus. And in that statement, he said that he'll be going to Lagos to make he'll be going to Lagos for treatment, and he has made personal arrangements for his treatment. That he had put all of this in place so as not to burden the public health system. And since he left for Lagos, went to Lagos for treatment, we didn't hear so much from him. No one knew about the state of his health, if he was recovering or in what health condition he was, until last night when again news broke that he had died when the special advisor to the President of Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, put out that statement announcing the sad loss of the Chief of Staff to the President, Abba Kyari. And since then, he has been trending on Twitter. If you go on Nigerian Twitter, Abba Kyari is the #1 trending issue. People are talking about him. A lot of condolences pouring in from state governors, the President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, political leaders, religious leaders, from all quarters. Condolences are pouring in for Abba Kyari, a man who many consider as the pillar of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. And so also many people are talking or wondering how this administration will indeed cope with the death of Abba Kyari, a man who is sometimes considered as, or some people say is the backbone or right-hand man of President Muhammadu Buhari. Before testing positive for coronavirus, Abba Kyari had traveled to Germany to meet with Siemens, and he also traveled with the Minister of Power, all in a bid to negotiate with energy companies to find a way of bringing a lasting solution to the power problem in the country. It was when he returned from that trip, and of course Germany was a high-risk country because the country also had so many infections, so many confirmed cases of coronavirus. It was when he returned from that trip. He returned via London and then to Egypt and to Nigeria. When he returned, he then tested positive for coronavirus. Went to Lagos to seek treatment, but didn't make it. He died yesterday. Well, his body has been committed to Mother Earth, and we can see the diggers pouring back the sand into the grave to cover his body. That would be his final resting place. Here we have seen the national coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, the former governor of Borno State, who is now a senator, the GMD of NNPC, ministers like the Minister of Communication, the Minister of Aviation, permanent secretaries, even the former permanent secretary of the State House, and other top government officials, all here to pay their last respect to a man with whom they worked very closely. These are live pictures of the final burial of Abba Kyari, Chief of Staff to President Muhammadu Buhari. We're transmitting these pictures live from in Abuja, the federal capital city. Officials of the NCDC that handled the body have had to disinfect their bus. As soon as the body was taken out of the bus, and they are even disinfecting right now the casket with which he was brought to the cemetery. All of these measures are just to ensure that nobody is exposed to any sort of risk. But of course, the NCDC says so far there is no evidence to prove that that persons who earlier, the senior special assistant to the president of media and publicity, Malam Garbashewu, told me that after now, everyone would depart and go back to their homes to continue with the lockdown imposed by the federal government. There will be no condolence visits to the bereaved families. All of this is to ensure that there is strict compliance to the protocols of social distancing and avoiding crowded areas that the NCDC has put in place as one of the precautionary measures against COVID-19. Even right here at the cemetery, there is a sufficient supply of hand sanitizers. We can see from time to time people are sanitizing their hands. Everyone are here with their nose masks, and just some are also trying to adhere to the social distancing protocol. All of this is to ensure that everyone is kept safe. Safety first is the word around here. And indeed, this again brings to the front Bona the issue of the coronavirus, the unseen enemy that is ravaging the world, and indeed Nigeria is getting a fair share of it, with figures rising now and almost getting to 500, with the deaths also in double digits. But also a glimmer of hope in Nigeria. People are also getting discharged. People also recover from the coronavirus after being treated at the isolation centers, government-approved isolation centers across the country. The death of the chief of staff, the president, further reinforces the message of the federal government that indeed COVID-19 is real and all hands must be on deck to break the chain of transmission, flatten the curve, and slow down the spread of this deadly virus. His body has been interred, committed to Mother Earth, and sympathizers are just cycling. Sympathizers are cycling where his body was committed to.
واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد da turanci zai ko da Hausa? To a takaice dan uwa muka zo muka binne a wurin kuma mutuwa ta dauki ransa za ta dawo kuma kowa daga cikin mu za ta ziyarce shi ko ba dade ko ba jima ba a tabbata a duniyar nan shi yasa annabi tsira da aminci tabbata a gare shi ya ga an binne wani mutum kaman haka ana kuka sai zo ya samu wanda suke janazan sai yake ce musu ya ikhwani limithli hadha fa'idu ya ku yan uwana da kwatankwacin abin da kuke wa dan uwanku nan to kowa ya tanadi saboda yau an kawo ne jiya an kawo ne jibi an kawo ne ka dai kai wata kila akalla mutum 100 makabarta ko sama da haka to akwai ranar da kuma mu za a kawo ba zai mu gama rayuwar duniya mu muna kawo su ba akwai ranar da mu din za a kawo abun ne to wannan bil hakika mutuwa wa'azi ne shi yasa cikin abubuwa da manzon Allah tsira da aminci su tabbata a gare shi abin da ya kira na wa'azi ya ce akwai mutuwa a ciki na biyu ina kyautata masa zato cewa bisa ga bayanan da na samu jiya awar da ya rasu kusan awa ne a cikin ranar juma'a manzo Allah ya kira daga cikin alamar kyakkyawan karshe na mutum yayi nasara a barin duniya shine ya rasu ranar juma'a na biyu na daga cikin shahada manzo Allah ya ce dukkan wanda annoba ta kashe shi in dai mai imani ne to yayi shahada so bil hakika waɗannan abubuwa guda biyu manya ne na farko rasuwa juma'a na biyu rasuwa dalilin annoba shahada ne kuma annabi yake cewa idan annoba ta zo wanda ta dauki ransa in mai imani ne ma min abdin yaqa'u fi ta'un fayamkusu fi baladihi sabiran yahtasibu annahu la yusibuhu illa ma kataba Allahu lahu illa kana lahu mithlu ajri shahid duk wanda ta dauki rayuwarsa ba a ce mutum yayi ganganci ya mutu ba amma mutum ya dauki dukkan precautions zai iya yi ta zama sanadin rasuwarsa to insha Allah ta'ala shahada yayi wadannan abubuwa guda biyu abin a masa kuma farin ciki ne rasuwa a juma'a da kuma dalilin annoba bil hakika waɗannan ni'imomi ne wanda ba kowa Allah ta'ala yake bawa ba muna roƙon Allah ya kankare masa zunubansa a gaba na ƙarshe iyayenmu da suke wurin da kuma wanda suke shugabanni duka auren sun ba da shawaran ba bukatan yanzu komawa a matsayin karban gaisuwa saboda promoting social distancing daga nan kusan kowa an sallame shi ba zai kuma a dawo a zauna ana ci gaba da karban gaisuwa ba saboda daman mafiya yawan karban gaisuwa din gaskiya al'ada ne so ba ma wani abu ne da yake da matsaya a cikin addini ba kawai ka'ida wanda ka san an masa rasuwa ko miji wacce ce ko baban wane ne ko abokin wane ne duk hanyar da ka samu kai ta'aziyya wannan iya da kyau a cikin halin da muke ciki ko ta'aziyya ana iya yi da waya waɗanda kuma ake da kusanci da su to ba sai an je waje ɗaya an taru ba to kula ga wannan an yafe wa kowa insha Allah ta'ala daga nan kowa yana iya tafiya Allah subhanahu wata'ala ya kawo mana karshen annoba din kuma muna roƙon Allah subhanahu wata'ala wanda suka rasu Allah ya sa sun yi shahada mu da muke raye Allah ta'ala ya sa karshen mu ya fi farkon mu kyawu Allah ta'ala ya kyautata karshen mu sannan kuma magana ta karshe abinda sunna ta karantar in an binne mutum bai tabbata ba a yi jam'in addu'a amma ana so kowa da ya zo magabartan ya kalli alƙibla ya daga hannu ya yi addu'a idan ya yi addu'a ya kammala sai ya tafi abinsa to da haka yanzu abu na ƙarshe ana buƙatar kowa daga cikin mu ya daga hannunsa ya kalli alƙibla ya masa addu'a na Allah ya gafarta masa in mutum ya kammala daga nan sai mu tafi to kowa zai addu'a sa ne ta kashin kansa insha Allah ta'ala Allah ya gafarta masa amin.
Can I summarize the Turanchi on Minister?
Okay, the message I have said here, firstly, that religiously death is an admonition. When someone passes on, it
Well, those were exclusive live pictures from the Gudu Cemetery where the former Chief of Staff to the President, Malam Abba Kyari, was being interred. His body